This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
As you know, the views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL, but here's a clue. We encourage you to like and share them on social media such as Facebook and YouTube, and to share with all your friends. It's time for JOANN'S World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World and hosted by the one and only JOANN Seeger.
Hello, everybody. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Happy Thursday. All right, well, let's get right to our breath work. Any newbies, welcome to the show. We're just going to do a quick breath work session, just 3 rounds of nasal breathing. So we're going to take in for 5 seconds, hold for 5, exhale for 5, and the expert counter in the house. Are you ready, Cliff?
Oh, I'm ready.
You ready?
I prepped for it earlier on.
You
on
did?
my
You
show.
practiced?
I told
all the way to
everybody about
5?
it. Well, no, but I explained to everybody why we do it and how 100% of medical doctors agree that breathing is okay.
That's right. That's right. All right. So let's exhale out on the drama, negativity, stress, anything
noise
that might be stopping your day from being absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Exhale out.
Stand by. In. Here we go. Let's go. In. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Slowly release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one more. In. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you, everyone. I hope
open your
everyone
eyes now.
participated and keeps that going strong while they listen to me for the rest of the show.
I can't stop my fingers.
I know, can't stop my fingers. So today's show, I hope everyone understands that it definitely applies to them. No matter your age, your health, this definitely applies to you. So we are going to talk about one of the fat-soluble vitamins, vitamin K, okay? But its relationship to the body, the immune system, calcification, thrombosis, COVID. We are going to talk about all of that today. But I want to start with this. If right away you hear the vitamin K sound and you go, wait, I'm on blood thinners. I can't even consider vitamin K. They will kill me. They will make me die. I want you to remember that there is an amazing thing called research that is done. And some of these researchers and scientists and doctors, they dedicate their whole lives to one nutrient. But if there is not a patent pending, a pharmaceutical that can benefit from it, it usually is not spoken about in mainstream. Even with doctors' continuing education units, remember that couple times a year that they might need to get those continuing education units, they have so many choices, right? There's a billion topics where they can get their time spent with. And so it might be where in the last couple years they didn't pick the vitamin K conversation to learn that unfortunately what they might have been sharing with you, hoping to help you, might not have been doing so. So please keep an open mind. I am going to discuss cutting edge research that, health food professionals and health professionals as well as doctors have been trying to get this point across, but I think unsuccessfully, because even health food stores really don't get this taught to them unless they're looking for the information or the nutritionists are going for their CEUs. Okay, so if you think about vitamin K, okay, it's a fat-soluble vitamin, but just like they call D3 vitamin A fat-soluble vitamins. They have learned, for instance, with D3, it's not just a fat-soluble vitamin. It's a precursor hormone, or you can even term it as a hormone. I believe through all the years why things get labeled differently is because they realize that these nutrients do a lot more than they believed they did. So they're giving them more labels to quantify their amazingness in the body. So I wouldn't worry about what it is per se. I would really focus on what it does. So we tried to discuss last week that the insulin and your body, all your organs, your kidneys, your liver, your gallbladder, your endocrine system, your thyroid, like everything is dependent on the insulin hormone, like how important it is, right? And how if it's too much or too little, it can throw the body completely off. It can cause your legs to be amputated. You can lose your vision. As we all know, we're all like very scared of diabetes, but yet we think that one hormone, either avoiding it or taking it, might help us. And we've seen, and especially with last week's show, that sometimes that's not the case. If you don't treat the body as a whole system, head to toe, in and out, all around, then really we're missing the whole picture, okay? So I'm definitely not trying to be like sometimes mainstream medical does, where, okay, now D3 is really bad. But wait, 10 years later, now D3 is the above all, end all, the all. Okay, so I never want you to believe that. I always want you to try to think common sense. All these conversations, especially now because we have the internet, can get overwhelming, confusing, and challenging. And sometimes it's like, well, if I can't do it all, I might as well give up. So I just want you to remember, you don't have to have a medical degree. You don't have to be an amazing researcher. Just use your common sense, okay? The one thing for sure is all our industrialized foods of the last couple hundred years, all these processed foods, there is no place for them in the human health. There's no place for them. So it really all comes down to that. So if you see, with the disease of the immune system, the heart disease, endocrine malfunction, all these things, don't let it scare you. Just let it bring your mind back to the common sense of your body, okay? About rest, sleeping, movement, fresh foods, lots of sunshine. Like, try to stick to the common sense. And then this won't seem as confusing, because today it is a little confusing what we're going to talk about, okay? So take a deep breath. All right, so vitamin K comes in all different forms. It used to be where they thought of it as just K1, and then there's K2. There's a nutrient called MK7. So there is now, I think, at least 11 forms of vitamin K. I believe just like bacteria, okay, remember everything starts in the gut, that we will find out if the science develops where they have the technology, that there's probably maybe 100 forms of vitamin K. But the point is this, that K1 comes from vegetables, but K2, which is so important for your health, guess where it comes from? So Cliff, I'm going to put you on the spot for this. K2 is made in the body mostly, okay, can be made in the body if the body is healthy. What system or what organ do you think it's made from?
I want to say liver or pancreas.
No, but that's a good guess, especially the liver. It's like the king of the body, right?
Yeah,
but it's the gut, okay?
Gut.
And like I've stressed on this show numerous times, bacteria runs our genealogy. It runs everything they're finding out. So if there's more bacteria in your body than there is, DNA, it's important. So vitamin 1, K1 definitely is your green leafy vegetables, which everyone knows, because if they are on a warfarin, they'll be told don't eat green leafy vegetables, which we'll get into more soon about that. But K2 is coming from the gut. That comes from bacteria. So I think that's really cool just for your brain to wrap around that alone.
That's your good
because
bacteria?
that's your good bacteria. So when you have a healthy gut, where you don't have leaky gut, where you're not compromised, you're not having bowel issues like lots of diarrhea or anything like that, your healthy gut will make the K2 you need just to be well and for every function to work properly, okay? But here comes the issue. Our guts are being compromised by fluoridated water, antibiotics, not intentional antibiotics that we might get from the doctor, but we're also taking it in from our food supply because, again, this is a whole show in itself, but the glyphosate, which is an antibiotic, okay, is in all our food supply because it does travel with rain. So water can carry it. It is in our animal feed supply and our grain production and our vegetable production. And if anyone doesn't realize it, glyphosate is Roundup and 162 other weed killers. Okay, so if all these antibiotics do not care which bacteria kills, it will cause leaky gut. Therefore, you won't have the healthy bacteria to make your vitamin K. So who cares about one little nutrient? Well, guess what? K stops blood clots. Vitamin K stops thrombosis. Vitamin K stops arterial calcification. Now, here's where the issue is. So why did they give people warfarin and do you know warfarin comes from rat poison? That's where it was derived from. Yes. So how it was discovered, a soldier tried to kill himself. And so he ate a whole bunch of rat poison. And so basically his blood obviously got real thin, like a bleeding disorder. And so all they discovered, if he had a lot of vitamin K, they saved his life with it, then it would stop the bleeding disorder. So when people started coming in with problems where their blood flow was not, when it was too thick, they called it, they would give them the blood thinner warfarin, so that way they thought they wouldn't get heart disease or stroke because their artery blood flow would be normalized. Well, unfortunately, the opposite is happening. Just like I always say with statins for cholesterol, heart disease is going up. The only time you'll see like where there's a benefit is when a surgery intervention is done, where someone's given a stent or someone's, a little balloons going through to clear an artery. So it really, the calcification, blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, brain bleeds, all these things are not going down. So the one major link, and the research body, again, spent 30 years doing all these clinical studies, which is now all published and being discussed. So this large group basically show that the vitamin K, if you basically stop that production, okay, or you have an intestinal issue where you're not making K2 from antibiotic use or other issues with leaky gut, then you cause more calcification in your arteries, okay? Or you don't have the calcium signal to go into your bones where it's needed. They call vitamin K like the signaling agent, like the train conductor. It tells all the trains where to go as they're holding all the calcium that are in the trains. So everyone knows that calcification in the wrong places, whether it be the gallbladder, the kidney, the bloodstream, is very dangerous, especially if a little piece of that gets chipped away. I think from my family and others that I know, that's probably the biggest fear is a clot, right? You hear all the time, perfectly healthy person, died instantly from a clot. It's a scary topic, and a lot of people want to avoid it even being discussed. But the truth is, if you don't have enough K, or you're purposely taking a medication that is stopping your K, then there is an issue. So if you are taking warfarin, all I'm suggesting is all the published studies are there. Your doctors who mean very well, and they are definitely going by years of what was been taught to them, just kind of maybe send them the link. Send them the link and say, hey, this was discovered. Do you think I should go off my warfarin? Do you think that this could be causing more heart issues than helping? Just start the conversation. There is that human defense mechanism that occurs when someone's being challenged, because of course your doctor doesn't want to ever think he hurt you with any of his pharmaceutical suggestions. But the truth is there. So just, you can dive into it. It's pretty simple study. And then you can share it with your doctor. But don't panic because it's all reversible. So calcification in the arteries, in your gallbladder, it's just like kidney stones or gallstones. It's all reversible. Just like they used to think that, your bone health is a fixed bone mass. It's not true. Everything is moving and growing and moving and always reversing and fixing itself. The body wants to thrive. The body wants to live healthy and long. You just have to kind of get out of its way. So one thing that frustrated me many, many years ago when people would be put on the blood anti-clotting medicine, they would tell me that the doctor said they couldn't eat any green vegetables. So right there, I didn't know a lot about science back then. I really just took for granted my intuition. And that's what I was taught in school. I mean, I went to a very progressive school that basically said, use your intuition, your common sense of how humans existed for thousands of years without the last 200 years of the modern medicine, of the industrialized food systems. And green vegetables, I mean, they're amazing. They have so many different nutrients. They heal. They do a benefit. So when a pharmaceutical tells you not to eat them, it really puts a big, huge red flag up in my brain. And I want it to be in your brain too, because there has to be something wrong with that mechanism. And sure enough, we waited for the science, and now the science is here, which confirms my worst fear is true. So you do not want to avoid vitamin K. You have to have it in your diet for many, many reasons. But let's just talk COVID conversation. So the D3, they did a huge research after a year of COVID, and they showed that D3 deficiency was prevalent in almost all cases of COVID. So what did all the doctors do? They started telling everyone to take really high doses of D3, okay, really high doses, which I'm never in agreement of. So anything that's too extreme is too extreme. Okay, so they take all these huge high doses of D3, but in nature, all your fat solubles work together as a team. They all kind of counterbalance each other and make each function stay stable. So all the mechanisms that it leads into, okay, like hundreds of different mechanisms in the human body, some already proven, some still a mystery. They need each other. What does D3 need besides A? It needs vitamin K. Okay, so D3 signals all this calcium in the body, okay? And it says, okay, we need you. But if the K isn't there to direct, then it's confused and the calcium might go to the wrong places. Oh, a little kidney stone here, a little gallstone here. Doesn't seem like a big deal. But when the calcium ends up in your artery walls, which thankfully that's the last place it chooses to go, then you know you're in danger of the heart disease, the stroke, the blood clots. So we want to avoid that. Now, most of us, and I'm so guilty of this, do not eat enough green leafy vegetables. So I'm going to give you an example of the ones that are the highest, okay? So kale ranks the number one source of vitamin K. Okay, now this is K1 we're talking about, okay? So 453%, this is per cup, is in kale. Okay, so I know people are either I love kale or I don't love kale, but kale is definitely a great source of K. But the trick is with kale, because it is so popular now, it does have a lot of glyphosate on it, right? That's a conundrum because the glyphosate causes the antibiotic that doesn't make the K2 absorbable in the gut. But you can definitely source out organic kale. And kale, if you are one of those blessed people that have a green thumb, kale is an easy one to grow yourself. So maybe you can do that. You don't need much of it. And supposedly it grows real strong and heavy duty in Florida gardens. But definitely choose organic because it's in the Dirty Dozen list of the most sprayed crop, okay? So if you look up Dirty Dozen list on Google, you'll see that kale is now one of the top dozen. But it is the highest amount of vitamin K. Number 2 is broccoli. Okay, so broccoli, you can buy organic broccoli anywhere now. It's so easy to source out organic broccoli and it's not expensive. But just in comparison, so the kale had 453%, the broccoli has 183%. Okay, so, less than half, but still a good source. Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are so healthy for you. Now, I noticed that a lot of restaurants now, especially now that Brussels sprouts are in season, they have appetizers of Brussels sprouts. But keep in mind, some of these restaurants throw sugar syrups on it, balsamic glaze with tons of sugar, or bacon. You want to keep things in perspective of a healthy vegetable versus one. It's just like you're trying to eat a salad, but you put 3 cups of sugary, preservative-filled salad dressing. So try to keep your Brussels sprouts clean and pure. And Brussels sprouts are also a really good source of indole-3 carbonyl, which has been proven to stop hormonal cancers like breast cancer and prostate cancer. So definitely check out Brussels sprouts. Cabbage is another one, okay? And cabbage, so inexpensive, so easy to find, stays stable for a long time. Asparagus.
My favorite.
Asparagus or the
yeah.
cabbage, yeah.
Well,
I love all of these.
Brussels sprouts are bonsai cabbage. That's what I call them.
Oh, yeah, and they're so cute. I mean, they're so adorable. I mean, and they're so easy to make, and there's a ton of recipes. You can eat them, cold after you cook them in a nice cold summer salad. But these are the top 6. But then there's also kiwi fruit, okay? Okra. I know okra is popular around here, but that's only 53%. But still, it has some. So green snap beans and lettuce. And on the warfarin comment, if you're getting a little concerned, which I try never to get you nervous, but just inform you. There is another big study that was at least 10 years ago, maybe 15, that showed that you can maintain your green vegetable diet that you had before the warfarin after with no significant changes. So if you keep that in mind, and that was over 10 years ago, and that study was out, and still, again, doctors didn't discuss that. And sometimes, too, I talk about, like, these nutrients. Picture each vitamin and mineral and fat-soluble vitamins as cleaning products, okay? You bring them all home. You bring your furniture polish home. You bring your Windex home. You bring your toilet scrubber home. You bring your granite cleaner home. You bring your stainless steel cleaner home. Bring your floor cleaner home. You bring your laundry detergent home. So you go and you spend like $300 at the store, and you have all these bottles to clean all these different things of the house, right? And then you put them in your cabinet. Are they useful? Or did they do anything sitting in your cabinet? Right?
They could be a danger if you got small children.
Yeah, right? But the point is, you have to use them, okay?
Yeah.
You have to use them to make your granite shiny, your stainless steel fridge all shiny, your floors nice and clean, So my analogy is this, that sometimes we go to supplement stores or to regular big box stores, and 20 years ago, it was the calcium rush. Okay, our bones are breaking, they're brittle, we're getting osteoporosis, osteopenia. Our doctors are telling us to get tons of calcium. We're flooding the stores. Oh my gosh, vitamin stores sold tons of calcium. Okay. Oh, no, no, no. We're deficient in magnesium. We're running to the stores. We're getting magnesium. And then, oh, no, now it's D3. It's this. Okay. So basically, if you notice, social media and the internet and the news is driving you to see what nutrient it is of the year. Okay. And you're bringing all this home. So say in your body. But if it's not working synergistically, or if it's not absorbing, it's pointless, okay? And as a supplement store owner, I will definitely say I would rather you not spend $1 on a supplement if you're compromising your body as a whole with a poor diet or purposely putting a toxin in that's destroying the systems that will break down these supplements, because that's why supplements sometimes get a bad rap. Not because of what us health food store people are telling them. It's because this huge drive to get one nutrient, isolate it, and take huge doses. That was never our intention. We've always practiced whole body medicine, which is telling you buy a whole food multi that has all your vitamins, all your minerals, a little bit of everything like nature intended. So that way the body can figure out what it needs, how it works, and never throw a system off. Because you can't keep throwing all these high doses of singular nutrients without throwing another system off. It's impossible. Just like a pharmaceutical. That's why I teach people with statins. Think about what it's doing. It's blocking your cholesterol production. Cholesterol is so critical to human health. And that's why the statins, okay, you still can die of heart disease on a statin, okay? Why would that be if statins block cholesterol? Because cholesterol is just 1/10 of the whole story. It was there when we were born. It was there in our brain. It was there in our body before we started eating a Big Mac. So you have to keep it in perspective, okay? Our body is born with so much happening in its first day of life. And what does it need? Lots of fluid, lots of sleep, lots of healthy food, okay? Breast milk, super healthy. So try to really not isolate nutrients. But now that everyone has bought tons of D3 from us, as well as all over the stores all over the country, I'm getting super concerned. We have one customer that told us a story that their doctor literally injected into their knees for bone high doses of D3, over 50,000 IUs. Well, what did it do? It caused a problem because it didn't have any K. So if there's no K, the calcium doesn't know where to go. So it produces all this awesome calcium, but it doesn't know you need it in the knees. It doesn't know unless the K is there to say, hey, dude, come on over here. The knees are weak. The shoulders need some more calcium. The ankles are a little bit deficient. You have to really have the K to complement the D3. So companies have stepped up since this research has been released. So there's some great companies that have come out with just vitamin K by itself. Now, has this always been around? Yes. But has it been talked about? No, because there's no money in it. There's no money in it. There's no pharmaceutical K yet. It's always, if there's D3, you see doctors now, they're selling the magnesium, they're selling the probiotics, they're selling the D3. Why? Because it's popular. But K, if you can't get it from your food sources, or if you feel your gut has been compromised, which we're going to talk about after a quick break, how to strengthen your intestinal and gut health to make sure you're having enough vitamin K, there are supplements. So don't worry to keep your D3 in balance. So if you have a big bottle of D3 at home and you're getting concerned, don't worry. You can get some K. It's inexpensive to complement that. All right, we'll be right back. More talk about vitamin K and how it works and how to absorb it.
You're listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, and we'll be right back.
Hey, it's Dr. Ravi at Tradition Family Chiropractic. We are dedicated to serving you and your family with integrity, compassion, and innovative care through the most advanced chiropractic care ever in chiropractic history. encouraging your health and your family's health to its maximum potential on a regular basis. Call us today at 772-345-0060 or schedule online at traditionhealth.com for your free consultation.
Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World, hoping that you visit my store and wellness center. We have incorporated cutting-edge services to help you feel better. Check out my online store at JOANN'S Really great deals and free shipping over $50. I am really hoping that all my listeners are taking time right now to get fresh air, to get exercise into their daily routine, keep hydrated, and get the proper amount of sleep. It's critical right now that attitude is everything. To please take time to laugh, to give yourself a break. You can find Nutrition World right on US 1 in Fort Pierce, across from Fort Pierce City Hall, in between Orange Avenue and Avenue A. Our phone number is 772-464-3598. Call me with any questions or concerns. All my best, Joanne.
JOANN'S Nutrition World, now open from 10 to 4, Monday through Saturday. Call 464-3598.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
And now, back to Joanne's World of Nutrition with Joanne Seeger.
Hey everyone, thank you again for listening. And I just want to stress that JOANN'S not only do we talk about our services and details about how to book them online, but we also have some other videos that we feel are really important for your health. Like we have breathwork videos that we share from YouTube, just general help that is free. So if you're at home and the budget is tight and you just want to know what you can do today, meditation, breath work. If you look at every health professional, it doesn't matter what their belief system is, everyone agrees that intentional breath work and meditation are the fastest ways to help the body. And it is free and it's available and it's easy because you know what? There's no rules. There's no rules.
I think
It's
that's
just quieting your mind and taking some deep breaths. So
that's
just
the part
start.
people have the most trouble with. It's free and it's natural.
So they think that it doesn't have the
can't
value.
Be any good.
Yeah.
But
Isn't that unfortunate that everyone thinks it has to be expensive to have value? But I know my listeners don't believe that. Right. So really, intentional breath work, I say that because I'm not talking about that shallow breathing we do all day long to get through our day.
We get stressed and we hold our breath and we clench our fists.
Yep. So some nice meditation, some nice breath work. Again, if you look at health professionals or even in psychotherapy, that whole field, it's always about just quieting the mind and just really doing breath. All right, so we're talking about K2 and K1 and what a critical, important role it has in the human body. But we have to also, we talked about the gut health and K2, how important it is if you compromise your gut, okay? Not only are all your neurotransmitters made from your gut, but they also determine your immune system is coming from the gut. So no coincidence that K2 comes from the gut. But there's also a huge role that the liver and the gallbladder play in it. So if you do not have your gallbladder anymore or your gallbladder is compromised, okay, then you really need to pay attention to your K sources, okay? Because then you don't have the bile production that's needed to break down all of your fat-soluble vitamins. So if you're throwing down every day D3 or vitamin A or K, it is possible, if you don't have the bile salts produced by your liver and gallbladder, that you might not be breaking them down. And it doesn't matter if it's a supplement form or the natural form from your body. It is critical that you have bile salts. Well, how do you get more bile salts? Well, one, you stop putting a toxic burden on the liver, okay? And everyone thinks, well, I don't drink or I don't smoke. But the liver has to deal with everything you put in, not only emotionally, but and also physically. Why do I say emotionally? And some of you might like, what? Yes, so they've proven that fear, anger, actually has a negative effect on the liver, like a proven effect. So really, not only unhealthy toxic food and drinks, but also unhealthy toxic thought processes to hurt your liver. So if the liver doesn't make enough bile acids, then it won't break down your fatty acids, okay? So it's really, really important to give your liver a break so it can make that. But if you feel like you've tried really hard and you still feel like your bile acids might be lacking, you can use bitters. So not only do they make food source bitters in the supplement stores like Swedish bitters or herbal bitters, but you can also eat bitter vegetables like arugula, endive, dandelion. They are so good for you. When we do the Ion Foot Detox, I see that liver and gallbladder come up all the time with this. It looks like gross. It's like this dark green, very thickness that comes out through the machine. And so your liver, gallbladder really loves bitter. Now, here's no coincidence here. Our number one seller at the store is called Andrographis. Andrographis is the king of bitters. It was the one that was shown not only through computer models, animal studies, but human clinicals to fight against COVID. But it's been used for thousands of years, thousands. And it is called the king of bitters. So no coincidence that it stops the blood clotting from the blood clots and other immune issues with the lungs. Because if you do the research about the K works on the fibrin to make sure that you don't have excessive fibrin, which scars the lungs or your bloodstream. And so you don't have that fluidity. You don't have that beautiful muscular contraction that your lungs need to pump. So to just take air in and out. So if you get too much fibrin, that will cause those very dangerous blood clots, as well as the little calcium, little charged particles. It will pick up that fibrin, and that's a blood clot. So super dangerous. The thrombosis effects, the calcification in the arteries from having a deficiency of K, or the lack of breakdown or absorption of K. So you have to remember, it's not what you take, it's what you absorb, okay? So the first step in healing your system is not just buying a K supplement, okay? It's not just about that. It's to work on your bitters in your body to make sure you're making enough bile. So we all have that available to us. And if you're saying, oh, I hate the taste of bitter vegetables, I get it, but you don't need a lot. If you buy the liquid food bitters, you only need a teaspoon. Once that tongue signals that bitter, it literally, I call it rotor-rooter to the liver and gallbladder. It loves clearing those bile ducts. It loves help stimulate that whole production of bile. There's even like some health food stores sell the homeopathic bile salts. I felt that the food bitters did a little bit better than those because to me, I believe that the tongue has the sensory for a reason. So again, common sense. Why would our tongue need to sense all these different things like bitter, salt, sweet? Because it sends signals into the body to say what to get ready for and what to clean up and what to do. So eating bitter vegetables sometimes can be challenging. Radicchio, which is the most beautiful vegetable, that's another phenomenal bitter one. Artichokes. Everyone know artichokes is good for their liver and gallbladders. It's in season now. So try to incorporate these foods, okay? But now K2, which is made with the bacteria in your gut, if you feel like your gut is compromised or you have diarrhea a lot or leaky gut syndrome, then you can get K2 from the food. So here's the list of foods that are high in K2. So eggs, it's the actual egg yolk. So egg white will not suffice. Remember, it's a myth that eggs cause heart disease, okay? goose liver. I've never eaten goose liver, but goose liver is a real high amount of it. Okay. And then natto. Natto has the highest amount, and that's actually where they derive the supplement from. Natto is a Japanese food. When I went to school in Boston, we did eat the natto every day. It smells terrible. But so if you can get your hands on real natto, not made from styrofoam. It's supposed to be wrapped in rice paper with the natural bacteria to ferment it. Definitely try to get that down, because that is the number one healthiest, phenomenal source for K2. So natto, N-A-T-T-O. Jarlsberg cheese, also a very high amount of it. So I don't even know if I've ever tried that cheese. Oh, it shows a picture. It's the one with all the deep holes in it. So yeah, that's a good amount of K2. Gouda cheese. You can see I don't eat a lot of these cheeses, but so if you do choose a cheese, don't choose the really industrialized, man-made, disgusting ones like that are fake cheeses. Maybe try these imported natural cheeses. There's a little bit in goose leg. Here's goose again. And then sour cream has a tiny bit, and cream cheese has a tiny bit. So again, my common sense tells me if it's processed and mixed with something that's toxic for you, it's not worth getting your K2 from it, okay? So if it's like a spinach dip that's loaded with junk, just because that's a little sour cream, don't use that as your excuse for K2, okay, guys?
What about Limburger cheese? Is that good for you?
It's not on the list. I don't know. I'm not really great at the whole cheese thing. Like sometimes when I go to those imported cheese cases, it's like, whoa, this is a ton. Yeah. So I was kind of taught always to go with like the natural farmer's cheese and goat cheeses. But it's not really about the name. It's about where does it come from? You know, just like when I learned that they were making natto in styrofoam because it mimics the same thing as the rice paper. Because, you know, when things get popular, they might not be able to use the cultured way for thousands of years they did something, you know, because that can't be a factory style. So then they make it factory style. So it has to lose something. It has to. Common sense says it would. So just try to get back to the basics with this. So again, not to promote any fear, but just have this conversation with your doctor if you're on warfarin. Okay? If you're on anything that stops your K2 from working properly in your body, okay? And it's really important that you know what every pharmaceutical medication or even supplement that you're taking, you know the mechanism and how it works. Don't just blindly go by the most popular story on Facebook or anywhere else. Take the time to be your best advocate and learn about everything you're putting into your body. But that also comes with a huge responsibility. We are responsible for our health. No one else is. We trust people. You know, I have a lot of people that trust me, and I feel really blessed with that. But I also tell them, I am here just to show you what I've learned today. But there's no way I can learn each and every day everything. In the 36 years I've been doing it, every day I go, oh my gosh, wow, this is incredible. I learned something else. Sometimes it's because what I'm personally suffering with, or a family member or a friend. But we have to take that responsibility. We each have our gifts in our own fields, but our human health, our body, that's number one. That should be our priority, because we can't take care of our children. We can't do our careers. We can't really exist if we don't have our health. So we need to make that a priority. Not like, oh, they're making money selling this or they're doing that. Forget all that. Forget about the supplements, you know, forget about the pharmaceuticals. Just think, how are you treating yourself? Because really, it comes down to all those other things really won't be important if you lose your health, okay? It's really critical. So if you don't want to spend money and you don't want to go shopping, that's okay. But Are you sleeping? Are you doing breath work? Are you de-stressing your body? Are you getting exercise? Are you getting fresh air? If you're sitting on the couch just, streaming Netflix or YouTube all day and just kind of like, look, another thing, but you're not doing anything to help yourself, then unfortunately you'll be part of the statistic of the heart disease, the cancer, which are only going up, okay? Because way before COVID, we had a lot of things hurting us, and no matter what variant of anything in life, we have to take our health seriously, because there is no pill, not from any industry, that would be to correct the human health like it is to connect with humans, to be loving and kind, and just really take care of ourselves. Really, really important. But if you do want to supplement, like I said, we do have the D3 and K now mixed together to make it a little easier for you. So Dr. Mercola, which, he's really, everything is based on research, which I love. And he does have always backup. He was the first one to research, the guy from the Netherlands that spent 30 years on vitamin K research before all the PubMed studies and the Harvard got involved. So I thought that was really cool. So he has the D3 and K2 together. But again, if you have this huge bottle of D3 that you bought, 250 soft gels, you could always get the K separately. One of the ones I love is the Garden of Life. They make a raw K complex. Why? Because it has the bacteria needed in the intestinal gut to make your own vitamin K. And it has K1 and K2. So it has all the forms. So it has all the superfoods. It has your broccoli in there. It has garlic. It has onion. It has the red cabbage, celery, asparagus, sprouts. So these are things that I know that if you're trying to be healthy, you might say each and every day, I need to eat more vegetables. But we rarely do. We rarely do. It's not like you can go through a drive-through and say, okay, can I have a bowl of broccoli sprouts? I wish we had that. I would definitely be one of their customers, but it's just not happening right now.
Bean sprouts are just about everywhere. In fact, you could manufacture them yourself.
Yeah, and it's easy to do sprouts, but that's the thing. It's just, I say that, but we've destroyed a few batches. So again, if you have a green thumb, make your own microgreens and sprouts. But in our local, if I have the local listeners, we have the Fort Pierce Farmers Market. We have a guy that comes Saturday morning with the most beautiful microgreens. And microgreens are 500 times more nutritious than most vegetables. So if you do a broccoli or radish microgreen versus the vegetable itself, you don't have to eat as much. And you can get so much more nutrition. So that might be a really good idea if you found that every week you're trying to eat more of these healthy vegetables and you're really just being challenged by it, then try microgreens. I noticed at Nelson's, which is our local produce market in Fort Pierce off of Midway, they have microgreens now that they're selling. And radish microgreens are absolutely delicious. They're just a little kick to them, but they're perfect alone, thrown in a salad, thrown in a sandwich. So no matter how bad you are at maybe indulging in sweets or alcohol thing, still do the good. Don't give up and say, well, I know, but I'm just, I drink my beer or I eat my wings or I do my donuts in the morning. It doesn't mean that you can't do healthy things too. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's really critical that, again, we look at the body as a whole, and we do adapt and we do get stronger. We definitely have shown that. So just really don't give up. And again, check out JOANN'sNutritionWorld.com. All our services, so in my wellness center right next door to the supplement store, we have the infrared sauna, we have the massage, we have the PEMF mat, and we also have the Ion Foot Detox that we've been doing for 20 years now. We have a summer special. That doesn't include the massage, though. It's 3 of those services. So it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours with us for only $59. Isn't that a great deal? I mean, you get some serious detox. and you definitely feel better afterwards. Some people ask, well, if I can't do it all the time, then why is it worth it? It doesn't matter. Even if you eat one big salad, you still ate the salad. You still get the benefit. So even doing just one detox, I always do the analogy. It's like I just gave you a new AC filter for your AC. So that air that's going to come in now, maybe it only will last like a next month, but at least it'll be cleaner and better for you, right? So don't look at it like all or nothing once again. It's really critical that you give your body a vacation. You give it a rest. You give it a rest from all this negativity, stress. Shut off the news. Just really, like, it's getting crazy again. So just give yourself a break. Maybe if you feel like you really can't shut it off completely, then just say between the hours of this or that, I'm not going to watch anything on my phone or a TV or any device. I'm going to give myself time to just have fun and relax and de-stress and process what you already heard, because that can be super intense.
We can always binge watch your shows.
Yes,
And
something
if you find
positive.
Something, you find something that a friend of yours or a loved one needs, you
Yeah.
can share that particular show with someone who you feel needs to know that information.
Yeah,
Like
and
today's.
and it's so funny because some people, I feel like they're so intense right now that they don't even want to laugh. Like, you can't even crack a joke because they're so stressed out about the politics of things still, and all the conversation around COVID, and they're just so intense they don't even want to break a smile, and that only hurts them. And so I'm stressed too. I'm totally stressed. I mean, these conversations are stressful, and they're repeating themselves once again. So it's really important we have to take time to have fun. Just have fun. And what's my expression on the commercial? Hopening. I'm hopening.
You're going to have the whole world using that.
I know, that's
phrase.
going to be my turn word. I'm patenting it. But I really do hope that all my listeners really spread the word that it's okay to laugh and have fun right now. It's okay. But again, there's no magic supplement on the internet. Just keep that in mind. No magic supplement or pharmaceutical. So whatever story you read, please think with your common sense. Don't click pay now. Okay, just really give it some thought. And I'm here if you need me. All my best, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
Wow. Hey, you've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World, US 1 at Orange Avenue, across from City Hall. By the way, this is WPSL Port St. Lucie on Google Home, Alexa, and the TuneIn app on your smartphone.